Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's story. And if you do, please subscribe. Here we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations with Bizzy. How are you today? I hope this finds you well this Holy Wednesday. My voice. I've been entertaining and I feel like I've been talking so much and my voice is getting crazy. So I'm going to be kind of quiet and I hope you can hear me. Maybe turn up your volume today and just know, here we go. Happy Wednesday. I can't even believe that Lent is almost over. It's so funny because my friends that know me really well know how much I like to shop. I'm like one of those shopper people. And I've been shopping, oh my gosh, forever, my whole entire life. It's always been one of my things that I do. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I've been shopping a lot, for years, just for years. It would always be my thing. I'd get like, I remember when I got 30 days and 60 days of sobriety and 90 days, and I'd go and buy myself something, a little bauble. And so here we go. It was Lent and Ash Wednesday came and I was like, what am I going to give up? And I gave up shopping. Oh my gosh. It has been, people are like, you're really doing it? And I'm like, I am. Like, I don't even do anything. It's kind of crazy. I haven't shopped at all. I miss it so much today. I was thinking, oh my gosh, Sunday's almost here. I get to go shopping again. Isn't that crazy? But that's how I think. I'm like, oh my gosh, the shopping's coming back. So that's the thing I'm looking forward to. And I've been so reflective. This is my second year doing Lent on Hallow, which, by the way, I just have to give shouts out to Hallow. They're kicking it. They're knocking it out of the ballpark. I love it, love it, love it. It inspires me every day. It's so crazy. I was just talking to somebody today on my walk, and I said, it's so interesting to me that I was searching all the time. I'd be searching for anything, right? Like, so it was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to do yoga. And I got really into yoga. And I even went to yoga teacher training. And those of you that know me, I'm not like one of these people that works out all the time and needs to work out all the time. It's just not my thing ever been. But I decided to go and get my yoga certification. So I get my yoga certification. 3 weeks, I think it was, 2.5 weeks, whatever it was. I went to Cocoa Beach, Florida, and I did this class. And I said, this is it. This is going to bring me closer to God. This is going to do it. Didn't work. Still felt really empty, really empty. Did the Kabbalah class, Jewish mysticism. That was interesting. Again, still searching. When am I going to feel peace? And the program, in the program that I'm in, the 12-step program that I'm in, it's all about getting closer. I believe it's like turning your will and your life over to the care of God as you understand them. It's like pretty much the entire program. It's like all about like letting go of your past, and you go into the 4-step, you do your amends, or 4-step, you write out, what your resentments in your life. And when I did my resentments, and I've done that a couple of times, they call it a 4-step. They've done the resentments. And last night, I realized when I went to a meeting, when you do a 4-step, do we ever put ourselves personally on that list? And as a Catholic, you're constantly doing confession. At least you're supposed to be. I mean, I know they do that in Medjugorje. In Croatia, they go, the men there that I spoke to, I can't say the entire country because I haven't spoken to the entire country. I just know for the handful of people that I spoke to that were men, they always went to confession once a month. And that is, so they would, if they did anything wrong, they'd go to confession. It was not up for debate. It was like something they did no matter what, they went to confession. So here I am, a year ago, this time I'm in Medjugorje a year ago right now. And I there learned all these things again that I don't know if I ever learned as a child, really. I think learning, being raised Catholic is great and everything, but when you're a kid, you don't really know, right? It was a great foundation for me, and I will never take that away from my mother. It was a fabulous way that she raised us, that she said, we're going to go to church and introduced us to church and all that. I think that I am very grateful for forever, because that's where my start of believing in God happened, was when I was a little child. But fast forward, I had the opportunity to go, when this opportunity was placed in front of me, to go to church and go to Medjugorje, and see where the Blessed Mother's been appearing since 1981, was the biggest pivot in my life. And that's what I was telling my friend this morning. I said, I searched and searched and searched, and little did I know was this thing that my mom gave me when I was a little kid, which was this relationship with God and going to church, and how it really has impacted my entire life. The church didn't leave me. I left the church. God didn't leave me. I left God. I did those things. Elizabeth made those choices. I made those choices. Nobody else did them. I could say, well, this person made me do it and this person made me do it, but nobody made me do it. Let's face it. Nobody made me do it. I have free will. I live in America. I have a brain. I have an education, and I have a belief in myself. And the longer I don't drink, the bigger my self-confidence is, and my belief that God made me exactly the way I am. And my human parents were not always the easiest. And to have forgiveness for them took a long time. It took a long time. I had things that were said to me that would deflate anybody's character or anybody's psyche, and how their self-will was, or how they thought about themselves. Like, anybody who is told, you're not smart, you're just pretty, you're not smart, you're just pretty, you're not smart, you're dumb. In fact, you can't even read a book, you're just stupid. And that wasn't really helpful for my psyche and my self-belief and my self-esteem, which then results in, bad behavior and picking up substances, because you think you're a piece of shit because the people that raised you told you weren't very smart and all you were pretty, and shut up, and you should be good at being a parent at the age of 5. But I wasn't, or 6 or 10. And so all those resentments were there. But now it's like, how do you finally let go of those? Like, I know my father loves to tell me my favorite book was The Cat Ate Your Gym Shorts. That's all she could read, is The Cat Ate Her Gym Shorts. And that really, for him, was probably just a joke, and it's funny. And it's like, oh, let's make fun of her. It's funny. Don't take it so seriously. Well, as human beings, we're sensitive. At least I am. And because I was hurt so many times, I built this wall. I did bad behavior. And I don't want to say bad behavior. I did dangerous behavior, and drank a lot, and had things happen to me that, don't happen to somebody that has a great self-esteem. I don't think, at least. I don't think people that feel really highly about themselves need to get themselves really blackout drunk and in situations where they wake up the next morning going, where am I and how did I get here? I don't think that happens to people that are authentically secure with who they are, and they follow some form of religious something. I believe that. I know it's not easy to be Catholic. I mean, I just had that girl on a Monday who I had no idea we were going to talk about Catholicism. If you didn't listen to Monday's podcast, it was talking about cybersecurity, which is why I had her on the show. But in fact, we talked about how she was going through RCIA, which is the Catholic schooling that you go through. And she was going through it with her boyfriend, who was becoming Catholic. And ironically, she talked all about it. She talked all about what it was like to be one of 8 children, raised Catholic, leaving the Catholic Church for 15 years, being back at the Catholic Church, and how much more stringent it is to be Catholic. And I've been really thinking about that since I've had her on. I've been like, wow, the Catholic Church is stringent. There are rules. But isn't that what we need as a human being? As human beings, don't we need to have parameters? Don't we need to treat people yes or no? Don't we need to teach people right from wrong? If you're not going to go to church, where are you going to learn it? Your parents, who are so busy doing 10 million other things, Nobody's taking care of the kids because they're just getting an iPad at very young ages. I see kids like little kids in high chairs with iPads in front of them. And then like toddlers, they're sitting there with their iPads again. Nobody's talking to anybody. Nobody's showing you how to be at a restaurant. You're just sat there. Nobody's learning how to communicate. Nobody's learning how to talk or how to have relationships with other human beings because their relationship is solely with a computer screen. We're in this place in this world right now where it makes kind of sense that people are going back to church, especially the Catholic Church. It's kind of weird, right? For so long, people ran. They don't want to follow those rules. We want to make our own rules. And I guess that there's people that want that and they don't go back. That's cool. But I think it's also cool, you guys, like the Fawn's cool, to think that you can go back to church. I think that when I was raised, I know that I always knew that there was a right from wrong. I always knew that somebody was watching down on me. For so long, I thought it was this big board table like they have in like, what is it? The Hunger Games. Like there's that Hunger Games, like somebody's up there and there, it's like people that are manipulating. But I really think that God had set this down. And being in this time of Lent, I can't stop thinking about Sunday's Mass where I went and it was Palm Sunday. And they talked about when Jesus, with Pontius Pilate, and Pontius Pilate is saying, does he need to be, I don't think he needs to be crucified. And the people said, yes, crucify him, crucify him. And Jesus said, forgive them anyway. It's okay. They can do this. So I keep thinking about that. Like Jesus saying, I forgive them. Jesus said, I forgive them. And we as a human people hold major grudges. We all think what's right and what's wrong. But does anybody follow those 10 commandments in the world today? They're really hard. It's really hard to stay in a place of knowing what's right and wrong and standing up for it. Are you a snitch if you tell? If you speak up your truth? If you say, yes, I do love my president, you don't like me because I like my president, you're going to talk about things like I heard these people talking one day. They were talking about tariffs I think this was in February. They were talking about how the tariffs were affecting their business. And I was like, the tariffs hadn't even taken into effect until April. And I'm sitting here listening to this conversation. And did I speak up? No, because I was ashamed. I didn't want to say anything. Someone sitting there even said to me, oh, Elizabeth, you don't like this conversation. You're outnumbered here. Is that a nice way to talk to somebody? It might not be nice, but do I have to carry a grudge? Do I have to carry a grudge towards my entire family for stuff they did back then? I mean, my mother's dead now, God rest her soul. But they're not here in my everyday life. But the voices don't leave, right? Those voices of no good, no, all that stuff. And I always talk about this. I always talk about how I fell to my knees when I was newly sober and said, God, please take away my mom's voice. And God eventually did. But it's kind of like that toothache. It went away. I didn't even know it was going to go away, but it did. And knowing that I have to forgive her. Now, does that mean I want to break bread with these people? No, I don't want to break bread with certain people. No, I don't. But I can forgive them from afar. And forgiving the people that you might be even married to or your kids. Like we're also living in this time of there's so much more estrangement than there ever was when I was growing up. I felt like I was the only one that was estranged from our family that I knew. And I know people had like major boundaries set with their families, but I don't remember anybody being truly as estranged as I was. And to think about today's world where there's so many kids that are estranged from their parents, they say, I'm not going to talk to my parents anymore. And I think there could be a happy medium of like, I can have, I can have my parents, I can have a relationship with them. I can be cordial when I speak to them on the phone. But again, I don't have to break bread with them, but I have to be cordial and take their calls. And because they gave me, you know, if anything, they gave you a roof over your head when you were a baby. They gave you 3 square meals a day. They maybe taught you about whatever religion you are. Let's just say that's it. They just did that. They just fed you and took you to school or made sure you got to school and gave you clothes, maybe some table manners, maybe taught you how to respect others. For that, should you at least be cordial? Is that too much? It's too much effort. Does it mean you have to grow up and just say, okay, I'm going to do this because it's the right thing to do? I know I'm supposed to forgive people. Extend an olive branch and forgive. Again, I'm not saying forget, but forgive. Like, why carry around this stuff all the time? Why carry around those stories? Those stories that make, compare you, how you're feeling on your insides to other people's outsides. Like, enough, right? Enough. It's so amazing, the feeling when you forgive and you let go of this hot rock or this backpack you've been carrying on your back with your resentments and your hurts. So, and I understand it sounds easy for me to talk about this, right? Because I've done all this work and I have done a lot of work. I have an education that taught me how to be a life coach, how to be a recovery coach, how to be a health and wellness coach. And I didn't only learn things because I went and took classes. I've lived a lot of things in my life. And I don't know why I've lived through so many things. I don't know why. I don't think the question is why. The question is, what am I going to do with it? What am I going to do with it? So I'm asking you to subscribe to my show. That's what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to do that for me now. I'm asking you to share this podcast with anybody that you know that might appreciate it or might like to just hear what I have to say. That would mean the world to me if you subscribe to my show and if you share my podcast with somebody. Now, what God has led me to in my life, I haven't made it happen, is that I've been coaching again. Now, I coached a lot when I was in 2013, 2016, all those years. I didn't quit coaching till about 2020, so maybe 5 years ago. And before that, I had an office spot in Wayne, PA. People could see my sign, and I coached people mostly in families. I did the whole family and people that were dealing with addiction. And recently, I've had the gift of not only am I been able to help somebody, I'm writing a program myself that's actually working. I'm helping somebody work through their problems, and I'm doing it with this program I devised myself, and it's working. It's helping this person. It feels, if there's anything better than hearing somebody drop that backpack that they've been figuratively carrying on their back, and you hear their peace and their serenity in their voice, there's nothing better. There is nothing better than being able to tell somebody that they're okay, You don't have to carry this anymore. You don't have to be by yourself. You're never alone. And that's what I used to think all the time. I'm alone. I'm alone. I'm alone. I'm alone. I was never alone. That was a big fat lie. I had God with me. I had the Blessed Mother with me. I had angels with me. I had, oh my gosh, so many angels with me my whole entire life. I remember having a woman on my podcast. If you went back to listen to this woman was on my podcast. I actually might have to reach out to her, but she came on my podcast and she talked about how she had angels in her life and she had an eating disorder. I remember that. And she was in New Jersey and people didn't see this part, but I stopped recording and she said to me, and I don't really know this woman, you guys. She said to me, I just want to tell you, your angels have been with you your whole entire life. And I was like, what? She said, you're not alone. Your angels, I can see them sitting right there. And I'm like, really? And I poo-pooed it till now. I think we all have these angels, right? How can we get through this thing that's called life unscathed, right? We all go through things, all of us, everybody. I even said the Queen of England, her son was kind of a problem, right? Her sister, kind of an issue. And you would think, well, no, she doesn't have any problems because she's the Queen of England. Well, that's BS. You're telling yourself. We all have issues. It's what you want to do with them. Do you want the issues to define you? Or do you want the issues to be something that got into your way, but you learned how to walk past them? Which do you choose? So for so long, my issues were my thing I carried on my backpack. And I started to shed a layer and then shed another layer and shed another layer. Then I learned what worked for me from my coaching days and from my education that I've had. And I learned, oh, that thing that they talk about in this book totally works and totally I can relate to that. But this one doesn't seem like it would work. I don't think so. But I know what it is inside of me. I know from what I've read and what I've learned on my journey, what feels right and what doesn't feel right with which people. But you know what the craziest thing is? Is that with my coaching, I get to hear people's story and not with judgment. Because I just said we all have a story. I just want to help people get towards the light. I know that this is what I'm meant to be doing is coaching. I know there is no joke. I mean, I am supposed to be coaching. It's not a joke. But for so long, those words that you're just not so smart, but you're pretty were louder than the thoughts that God has you. You can do this. You can do whatever you want to do. Watching Rory McIlroy this past weekend win the Masters. By the way, congratulations to Rory McIlroy. I doubt he's going to listen to my podcast, but who do I know? Maybe he will. Maybe somebody will pass this to Rory McIlroy. But Rory McIlroy winning after so many bad putts, so many amazing hits, that golf match was unbelievable. And then at the end, as emotional as he was, he looked at his almost 5-year-old daughter and said, Poppy, I want you to know you can dream and do anything you want to do. But see, the problem is most of us have this thing inside of us that keeps us back. This resentment, this self-loathing, this fear, all these things that get into our way of reaching for what we really want. I want to coach people. I love coaching people. It is such a joy. It is so wonderful to help somebody. I get so much joy from that because I know it's God working through me. It's not Elizabeth, it's God. If you feel lost and alone, if you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know where to turn, you can always reach out to me and I will help you. I promise you, I will help you. You can email me at elizabeth@elizabethchance.com, or you can even call me, text me at 610-551-9630. And I promise you, I will get back to you. You know, I am so filled with gratitude. I am so grateful to God for not dropping me. I am forgiving myself for walking away from God. I forgive myself because the only person it really hurt was me and maybe the people around me. If I'm going to be honest, it was me. It was me. I didn't have the strength to say, that hurt my feelings. Can you stop? Or walk away or not take it too seriously. But like most, well, I'm not going to say most. I'm going to say a lot of us, I'm sensitive. It didn't feel right, but I couldn't stick up for myself. But it's time for me to stick up for myself. And I think it's time for you to stick up for you. Feels weird, right? Self-forgiveness, knowing God forgave you. God died for us so we could have freedom. I just want you to follow those 10 little commandments. Be nice. Be caring. Forgive. I feel so free today. I feel so free today. For so long, I didn't feel free. I wanted more. And God gave me more. And I see it happening all the time. These little winks. These little, you're on the right path. For a long time, I wanted a burning bush. But I see little speckles of where I should go next. And I know that if you get to that place where you're no longer being hurtful to yourself, verbally by the way you talk to yourself, if you get to that place of pure freedom, your life will be beyond your wildest dreams. And it's not going to be what you thought it was. No. Being able to really look in the mirror and like what's looking back at you took me a long time, but I got there. See, life is so good. Forgive you. God already forgave you. So what we say when you don't forgive yourself, when God's already done it, is your ego. EGO. I like to say easing God out. Don't ease God out. Bring him in more. I swear it feels so much better. It feels so much better. For so long they'd say, if you went to church, you'd live longer. If you went to church, you'd have a community. And I have to tell you, they were totally right. Because it's joy and happiness. Going to church this past Sunday with my girlfriend and us looking at each other like, did you feel that? Did you feel that? Oh my gosh, did you feel it? And this feeling that I knew I wasn't alone. I know God's there. If you would subscribe to my email list, it would be amazing because then you'll get my newsletter in your inbox on Friday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Go to elizabethchance.com. You'll see it on the bottom. Sign up for the newsletter. Do that. If you need help or someone you else does, you know how to reach me, elizabeth@elizabethchance.com. Or you can text me at 610-551-9630. And lastly, please subscribe to my show on wherever you're listening to this. Just go subscribe. On iTunes, I think it's a plus. I think it's easier on Spotify. It just says subscribe. And I know it does that as well on YouTube. And share this with one of your friends. It would mean the world to me. You know who's going to be coming this week? He hasn't been on this month, my husband. So he'll be on Monday. You'll have the two of us Monday. And then you get me back again next Wednesday. And if there's something that you want me to talk about, please let me know. Reach out to me. And I want to thank this person that keeps emailing me. Well, she's emailed me and she sent me a message on Instagram. And I just want to tell her I'm thinking about her. And she's not alone. Reach out for help. You don't have to do this alone. That's a lie. All right, that's enough of me, you guys. Have the best Wednesday and the best week. And I will talk to you next Monday with my hubby. And until then, take care. Say a little prayer for me. I'll be praying for you. And have a blessed Easter, you guys. I hope you have a wonderful Easter. Sending lots of love. Bye. Thanks for listening to Conversations with Bizzy. I hope you enjoyed today's show. If you did, if you could subscribe, that would mean the world to me. And follow me on all social media. And you can also get my newsletter every Friday morning into your inbox. Just go to elizabethchance.com and subscribe. Take care.